The thing that is most amazing to me is the lying that goes on today. You are now teaching, I'm not making this up, we are teaching damage control and spin. I remember in this country we used to call spin lying. Now we call it spin and we study it and we admire it. How to put out a line of bull and have it fly for more than 24 hours and then they high-five each other because they beat the other side if it's another party or it's another candidate. Or it's another company, if it's one company with another with their annual report of their quarterly earnings or this or that. Public relations has overcome our whole society. It's all PR.
Many people are not aware that when you watch television, you are watching a program produced by a large multinational corporation that has enormous conflicts of interest.
General Electric and NBC is a perfect example. How can we be sure we're going to get the kind of information we need to have about the nuclear industry, about defense contracts, and all of those things when NBC is beholden to this parent company? Why would they report on that? Of course they wouldn't. Why would ABC report on what's going on at Disney? They wouldn't. There's no point in it. And it's precisely for that reason that those companies want to own television stations in the first place, so that they can keep a check on those sorts of things.
General Electric has made it a very proud part of their policies that they are going to move jobs from the United States of America to China, to Mexico, any place in the world where they can get cheap labor. This suggests obviously that General Electric is deeply concerned about our trade policies. Over the years, General Electric has done its best not to pay taxes, or to pay as little as they can in taxes, taking advantage of all kinds of corporate welfare tax loopholes. Suggests very strongly that General Electric has an interest in tax policy. General Electric is a major polluter. Therefore, they're concerned about weakening environmental policies. It's not obviously just General Electric. It's the same thing with CBS or ABC. The conflicts of interest are enormous, and the result is that certain issues are talked about, certain issues are not talked about.
In close to 11 years, we've done more than 100 reports. The reports and investigations about public servants screwing up or systemic abuses of the public trust by public officials almost always get covered. We're the ones that broke the Lincoln bedroom scandal about the Clinton White House. We've done a lot of this kind of thing. When we do those stories, they get covered and the media jumps on them, frankly. We have a news conference. We normally have 50 or 60 reporters, 4 or 5 cameras. But I have to tell you, when we've investigated corporations, for some reason it just doesn't get covered. Media corporations don't cover the news when it comes to politics anymore. The political news coverage in 2000 was half what it was in 96. 96 was half what it was in 92. The third leading source of revenue for the media today, broadcast media, happens to be political ads. So if you're a politician, the only way you get heard is with ads. In 1981, the media was getting $80 million from political campaigns for ads. Today, the last campaign, they got $1 billion. That's why you've got to have millions of dollars to run for office as a politician. You're either a millionaire, you're able to raise large sums of money all day, dollar for dollars, and that's who goes into politics. And you are complicit in the system.
The level and quality of information available to the public. They clearly are wildly misled today by a propaganda apparatus that is associated with the entertainment industry. I mean, that dominates it for commercial and commercial reasons, commercial profit, from Fox News to Verizon's control of CBS, GE's control of NBC, Disney's control of ABC. There's hardly a word put out on it that you can believe, and if you actually know something about the subject before you hear it, you know what you just heard was not true. It happens all the time. Or the happy news that follows after the first 15 minutes. It's quite literally like listening to Pravda. And as the Russians used to say, no one reads Pravda to get the news. You read Pravda to get the line. You get the news from people you trust, from your own little radio, from some ways that from messages that friends transmit to you. I no longer read the New York Times for the news. I read it for the line.
Let's look at the media. Here's a quote from the Los Angeles Jewish Times on the huge conglomerates who overwhelmingly control the mass media. Quote, 4 of the largest 5 entertainment giants are now run or owned by Jews. Rupert Murdoch's News Corp is the only Gentile holdout. However, Rupert is as pro-Israel as any Jew, probably more so. That's from Los Angeles Jewish Times, October 29, 1999. In fact, even the 5th media conglomerate, News Corp, has a man of Jewish descent as its CEO. His name is Robert Chernin.
Ostensible diversity that conceals an actual uniformity.
The truth of the matter is that increasingly what we see, what we hear, and what we read is being controlled by fewer and fewer large multinational corporations.
People don't appreciate this. You know, in the last days of the Soviet Union, you had dozens of newspapers, dozens of magazines, all kinds of radio and television stations. The only problem is that all of that media was controlled by the Communist Party of the Soviet Union or the government of the Soviet Union. We are moving in that direction.
There is an illusion of choice that's maintained when you can have 100 channels on your cable system, and how many movies did the studios release a year now? All these different studios, and the music industry with so many labels, and magazine stands that go on and on and on forever. Well, the owners are a handful, 5, 6 different companies.
And that is a very dangerous development for those of us who believe in a vibrant American democracy.
Prudent people no longer believe what they hear. That is, the spokesman for the Department of Justice comes out and says, our highest priority is to maintain constitutional liberties. Well, obviously, anybody who's paid any attention in the United States for the last 2 years knows that the direct opposite is true.
About half an hour ago, it must be said that the police completely lost control. Let me explain exactly what happened. I'm at the end of Queen Street here. There was a large number of protesters behind this police cordon here, and that crowd grew and grew, and simply that line of police officers was not able to hold them back, and as a result they came flooding through here.
The view left Mercury.
They came flooding through here. I'd say there were about 200 of them, mainly young men, and they ran amok down this street. You might be able to see our satellite trucks down there. There's a ITV satellite truck down there as well, and our truck at least was attacked. We were so frightened at one stage that we actually had to lock ourselves in the truck. And these protesters then proceeded to smash up some of our equipment. Before running off down in that direction. And rather worryingly, it's in that direction that Highfields is, and Leicester is a city with a very large Asian population. and Highfields particularly is known as an Asian area, and there are unconfirmed reports that those youths who, as I say, were running amok here just 20 minutes ago are heading up in that direction.
The thing that is most amazing to me is the lying that goes on today. You are now teaching, I'm not making this up, we are teaching damage control and spin. I remember in this country we used to call spin lying. Now we call it spin and we study it.
The real revolutionary breakthrough of Fox has been it's eliminated journalism. I mean, that's the thing to understand. What Fox News Channel has done is it's stripped out any notion of journalism as we've traditionally understood it from its product. There is no journalism at the Fox News Channel.
What? Listen, cut his mic.
Listen, Chad,
starter's pistol.
Let me finish.
Chad, I want to test if you're an honest individual.
All right.
Bodies
I'm sorry to cut you off. I know we're in some controversial stuff here, but my religion didn't teach me that. But thank you very much for being here.
It's a right-wing network, and you don't want to hear this stuff.
You want to do.
Not about the kid. It's about you, Jamie. Let's go. Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
About me, I'm doing. Yes.
Good night.
I'm doing.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.
Don't take your cheap little pathetic shot. I am telling you that's
you're taking cheap little pathetic shots.
Just giving his record.
To tell you what the truth is. No, you're misrepresenting his record.
I'm telling the truth, sir. That's the truth about his record.
I understand what your position is not correct.
I'd like to hear one single...
You're on satellite radio, because you can't get on regular radio.
Paul Evans, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Bill, if you are so concerned about public figures being bad role models for children, please stop rudely interrupting your guests and telling them to shut up. Well, the shut up line has happened only once in 6 years, Miss Evans.
Well, you know, I think that asking a student to stay in the closet in order to go to school is a lot like asking an African-American student.
Want to know what I was doing?
Shut up.
Please don't tell me to shut up.
As respect, why did you have to tell him you were an atheist if you didn't have any trouble reading the oath? Why didn't you just shut up? What Jimmy Carter should do is privately give Mr. Bush his opinion and shut up publicly. That would be best for the country. And it is our duty as loyal Americans to shut up once the fighting begins. Once the war against Saddam begins, we expect every American to support our military, and if they can't do that, to shut up. All he's got in 6.5 years is that I misspoke, that I labeled a polka war to Peabody. He writes it in his book. He tries to make me out to be a liar.
No, that's
shut up.
No,
you had your 35 minutes. Shut up.
I was a Fox employee for 3 years. I worked in news.
On air or behind the camera?
I'd rather not answer that. I think I'd rather keep myself anonymous. You'll disguise my voice.
Yeah, I've heard directly from folks, both as correspondents and as bookers, who've expressed very great reservations, almost as if they're being monitored by a Stalinist system, afraid to be seen talking to the wrong person or having the wrong kind of email exchange.
You're either one of us or one of them. And in leaving Fox News, for example, there were a number of people at the organization, the head of the organization, tried to ruin my career simply because I was leaving, because I didn't leave on their terms, because I refused to sign a confidentiality agreement. That was another reason for them to try to keep me from getting my next job.
It's very much an environment of fear.
It was made very clear to us that our activities were being monitored, and if someone wasn't watching it live, they were at least recording it, and they would review it after the fact to see what we did.
We weren't necessarily, as it was told to us, a news-gathering organization so much as we were a proponent of a point of view.
Fox has already been successful in sort of branding me as somebody who can't be trusted, and as a result, I'm already sort of on thin ice regarding my current employer.
I'd been warned by people. There were a number of people who pulled me inside and said, look, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know that you want to work and I know that you need a job, but you might want to think twice about taking this job because really it is a very conservative news network.
now that I've learned comedy writing at Fox News Channel, I guess I should be doing stand-up in the clubs.
I think that if you don't go along with the mindset of the hierarchy in the